Fritsch, we were wondering at the start of the game where the goal's going to come from. Someone needed to kick a bag.
Gives it off here to Fritsch. Fritsch gets to 50, drills the footy, no problems at all. He's got every bit of that.
G'day everyone, Inside Melbourne, Clint Stanaway with you. Ben Gibson's actually rejoined the team. He's along for the ride. G'day Ben.
Thanks for having me back.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Actually, you bring a bit of sanity to the podcast, which is a good thing. Also, a few special guests in the house. Bayley Fritsch coming off a nice haul of snags. G'day, Bayley.
Hey, mate. How are you?
Going very well. And Sam Frosty, good to see you in the house.
Yes, good to be here. Thank you.
Boys, how's the day been? How's the week been digesting the loss to the Eagles in Alice Springs?
Yeah, it's been all right. Disappointing loss, obviously. Played well most of the game, just couldn't capitalise and finish it off. So, yeah, bit of a tough review. And, yeah, training today, short week. So we're sort of looking forward to St Kilda now. So all the review's done.
Fred, I just want to come to you because I listened to one of Ben's interviews post-match. Nice interview, Ben, by the way. Going very well, tracking very, very nicely. It really sat in your gut, didn't it, that loss? Just tell us a bit about that and why exactly it hurt the way it did.
Obviously, just to play the way that, I guess, the Melbourne way that we know for, I'd say, probably 2.5 quarters, probably the first 3 quarters in particular. And then to let it slip in the last quarter was, I guess, really disappointing. And we're all disappointed, I guess, as a group. And, we'll be out with a bit of fire in our belly on Saturday night, that's for sure.
Has it gotten to that point where we're sort of sick of these honourable losses and it's really starting to hurt?
Yeah, that's more or less what was talked about after the game, that, you know, you can sort of pat yourself on the back and feel good about close loss to a good side, or you can just cop that enough's enough and we're not happy losing in close games, which we've done far too often this year when we've been in winning positions as well. So definitely, it was a tough one to swallow for sure.
How do you learn from those sort of moments? Do you review plays late in the game? Where does it change there?
Yeah, it was a bit of a theme of dropping off late in games. And then it's just moments throughout where we're inconsistent, playing patches of really good footy and then just falling away from what we know we need to do. So it's sort of all in the review and then general themes across a number of the games that we have lost.
Frida, is execution a word that gets bandied around a bit in the postscript?
Yeah, I guess doing all the work up the ground, and then I guess when you get in front of goal in particular, you want to consolidate that on the scoreboard. I think, as I said in the interview, I guess converting those shots at scoreboard pressure, is massive in footy, and I guess 3 or 4 goals instead of 3 or 4 points early on in the game could have put the pressure right on them, so it was a bit disappointing.
West Coast are a very good side, though, it has to be said, and in moments played some big footy. How do you sort of pick yourselves up and reload again Saturday night against St Kilda? Because it's a tricky opposition. They've got a caretaker coach coming off a nice sparkling win first up. Sam?
Yeah, no, they're going to be high energy, and like you're saying, they're coming off a good win, so they're probably feeling like they're in a good bit of form. But I think what we're feeling is that we've still got something to prove, despite where we are on the ladder, and you know, we won't make finals, but we've got a bit to prove against sides that are either in top 4 contention or not. It doesn't really matter to us. We want to create a winning culture, and that's what's important at the moment.
6-day break off the warm conditions in Alice Springs. How does that affect the body at all?
Yeah, body's feeling pretty good. I don't know about Sam, but for myself, the shorter weeks, I don't mind them. So we've had a pretty cruisy week, good session today on the track with all the boys. So I reckon we'll be fit and fine and ready to go for Saturday night. And
we've played 2 games up in the NT now. Is that somewhere you like to go and play in front of a different crowd?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good change of scenery, and I mean, particularly when it's pretty cold and miserable in Melbourne, it's nice to get a bit of warmth and a bit of sun and warm the joints up. So no, it's good. I think we'll enjoy it.
And it's a real different environment. Like after the game, you have to walk to the bus past all the fans that jump in for selfies you've just lost. But do you enjoy that? It's a real different feel, isn't it?
For sure. And it's a completely different perspective to what we're used to, and to be able to give back to that community that love football so much is pretty special. What
was it like for you, Ben? You get out into the community?
Yeah, it was good. An amazing place up there. The fans are just so passionate. It does change it.
I reckon it brings you back to, like, I remember for me when I was 16, 17 playing local footy for Coldstream, just that local feel. So yeah, especially when I get back up there, it sort of brings back memories of me playing for Coldstream back in the day. So it's good fun.
I actually want to ask you about the EFL and your games for Coldstream, because you got a big family connection out that way. Your dad played a big haul of games, is that right?
Yeah, so Dad played all his footy at Coldstream, all his senior footy. I think he's got the record, 360 games. So
Does he remind you of that? Does he sort of say?
no, he likes to keep it on the down low because every sort of media thing I do, they always seem to bring up my old man. So,
And here we are.
And touching on the family, how about your younger brother Darcy? There's been a bit of talk that he might be up to AFL standard. How's he rate?
I think so. He's made Casey's list this year. He played a practice match, but he hasn't played a game. I guess he's still developing. He's only 20 years old, so he's a bit raw. But I think he played in the young guns game on the weekend and did a couple of good things. So hopefully he can have a good future out of him.
Be nice to play alongside him one day.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Actually, I think I told you pre-podcast, I tried to pick my dad's brains. He hasn't got many, but Big John Stanaway, who's a trainer at the footy club, he came up with a few fast facts about both of you. Bayley, apparently you're about to become a Sparky. You've finished or just about to finish your apprenticeship. Why'd you pick electrical work, mate?
I guess so. I left school a little bit earlier. I left after year 10. I wasn't planning on leaving school actually. I did a bit of work experience with a family friend in the Christmas holidays, and then it turns out he offered me an apprenticeship. So I thought, why not? And your dad's been on me back about getting me last exam done to get my A grade, so I'll thank him for that when I've got it.
Because he's sort of like, he refers to himself as a former electrician, but he's still very much a handy man. So loves reminding me of that. Sam, what about you, mate? He told me to ask you about your fast cars, about your love of your V8 Commodore. Is that right? Yeah,
no, I got a Commodore. It was my brother's actually, bought it off him, which is quite a bit of fun to drive around. He did a little bit of work to it. So Tom McDonald and I actually went to Sandown and did a track day.
Really?
Raced each other around a bit. But no, it's I wouldn't call it a hobby, but more just something I enjoy.
Now, Frosty, you play with a lot of flair, and after round 14, Simon Goodwin described your ball use as frostball. What's your take on that? Yeah, no, it's a pretty unique kind of ball movement, I suppose. It's a bit random and unpredictable even to myself, but it's hard to really define it, which I think is why he just calls it frostball and just hopes that everyone kind of knows what he's talking about. But you do kick the odd floater. Do you know how you manage that? Not really, no. No, when you run that quick, you don't really know much of what's going on. So, I have no idea, to be honest.
The frostball, hey? So when you heard Goody speak about that, were you happy with the...
Yeah, well, I think internally it's been a thing for a little while that he likes to joke and laugh about. But I found it pretty funny when he said it in the presser. I think it was good. You just hope that there's more positive outcomes than negatives with the frostball, and that's all you can really hope for.
Absolutely. Bayley, we almost saw you pull down Mark of the Year on the weekend. What happened? How close were you, do you reckon?
I think I did all the hard work, but just didn't bring the ball back down to the ground, and I hurt my wrist when I landed. So.
Oh, really? Is it all right now?
Nah, the wrist is all good now, but it would have been nice to pull that one down.
Did you have a look in the replay?
No, I actually haven't. I probably should. I must have took my eyes off it or something.
You did hold on to 14 marks. Obviously, the move up forward, you must have enjoyed that.
Yeah, back to, I guess what I know. I got drafted as a forward, so haven't really played much since probably the first half of last year. So to be back down there and contributing in some sort of way was, I was real happy.
You certainly look comfortable leading up at the ball, jumping at it. Is that where you feel most comfortable, do you think?
Yeah, I think I've played some good footy on the wing, between the wing and half forward. I see myself playing there in the future, so
You certainly do get thrown around a bit. Do you find it disrupting, I guess, mid-game, starting on a wing and then saying, oh, here we go, half-back flank?
Just Mr. Versatile, that's what he is.
Yeah, I guess it makes me a little bit more employable, but it can be a little bit frustrating. Sometimes if you start well somewhere and then someone goes down with an injury, I seem to be the first one to be moved, but wherever the coaches need me to play, I'm happy to do the job.
That's the right answer.
Speaking of playing forward, Jordan Lewis did a little bit of that as well, to some effect. I'll say some because he missed a couple of...
He'd be flat with you.
Is it fair for me to say sitters? Because I probably wouldn't have kicked them. But there was one he got a second go at because he got shoved in the back and he would have been pretty happy about getting the free kick.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think he would have been pretty flat with himself to miss that one from where he was on his left. But yeah,
But
no,
it's
I'll
nice-
leave it up to you if you want to call them cities or not.
It's nice just to see Goody sort of just trying a few different things in the back end of the season. Has that been spoken about? The fact that, Freddie, you'll sort of play forward a bit, obviously float between wing, forward, maybe even sit down back a little bit too.
Yeah, I guess the more positions each player can play, it makes us more versatile as a side, which is going to be good in the long run. But I guess maybe we might try, if he hasn't really been spoken about much, but I guess we could try a few things in the back half of the year to, I guess, experiment for next year. But yeah.
And Geordie's role was certainly an interesting one. He tagged Jeremy McGovern, who's a pretty dangerous opposition player. Were you impressed by how well he manned such a big body?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's obviously Geordie is a very clever footballer, so you sort of back him in to do whatever role just with his footy brain. But yeah, some seriously impressive contests against a guy far bigger than him, and that obviously is good in his role as well. So he was unreal.
And Gus Brayshaw also played that negating role on Elliot Yeo. That was a pretty impressive effort for someone who's usually used to chasing around himself.
Yeah, for sure. No, and Gus got some good credit for his role on the day, and yeah, very, very impressive effort on another really good player.
I've just had a look at some questions here from the outer. There's some good ones actually. Has anything caught your eye here, Ben? Have you done your research? Because
I've had a look.
There's one. Paul Barton says the wingnuts. Where did Iceman get his pace? I assume it's referring to you, Frosty.
I don't know. To be honest,
much pace.
Yeah, I mean, Mum and Dad played footy and netball, but Dad just talks about being the biggest kick in the sandful, and Mum just tries to convince me she was pretty good. So I don't know where the pace actually came from.
Pace, it's a big talking point in these questions. Nico Hancock says, what's your top speed, and can you confirm you are the world's fastest land mammal?
Wouldn't go that far, but been clocked around 35 and a half, 36 k's an hour, something like that.
Pretty impressive.
Just a taste of what to expect from the outer very, very shortly. Speaking of pace, grand final sprint, do they still have that? Have you done it before?
I've never done it before. Yeah, no, I don't know. I've never really been asked about it.
Frito may have.
Because I know that the man to your left has.
Yeah, I question the integrity of the event just quietly, but that's my
What
opinion.
happened, mate?
Yeah, I actually don't know. I somehow got through the heat, but I reckon I was in the bottom half of the heat, so I don't know how that happened. That was a bit of a stitch up in itself. But then, yeah, got to the final, and I think I was the last past the post. So it was good to be there, grand final day though, and hopefully we're there for another reason next couple of years.
Yeah, it's good entertainment, isn't it? Big grand final day in the grand final sprint. Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there, Frida. We'll have to maybe hit the videotape and have a bit of a look back at the replay. Good stuff, guys. Hey, we're going to take a quick break here on Inside Melbourne with thanks to Zurich and come back with your questions from the outer.
Thanks to our co-major partner and podcast sponsor, Zurich. For over 100 years, they've been ensuring the people and the things you truly love. And just like you, they truly love footy and they truly love Melbourne.
Welcome back to Inside Melbourne podcast, proudly brought to you by Zurich. We're going to go straight into questions from the outer. And starting us off, we've got a question for Frosty. Someone's wanting to see you play up forward again. Is that a possibility?
I would say doubtful. Personally, I feel pretty comfortable down back, and my roles in the forward line in the past haven't gone all that well. I mean, if I was required, I'd be open to it for sure, but yeah, I can't see it happening anytime soon.
The Frostball strategy, does it sort of apply? Is it just purely something that happens in the back line, or?
Yeah, it's sort of a
Or
full
is
back
it
to half back
whole-
going forward. It's not something you really want to do running away from your own goals, I don't think.
Because Tommy McDonald, when he swung forward, he was an unbelievable kick on goal. And people
Absolutely.
were a little bit surprised after his form down back. So
Yeah, I
could be
mean,
a future
look,
career.
never say never, but we'll see.
It was a long trip to Alice Springs, and a question here from one Charlie Spargo tickles my fancy. I assume it's a loaded question. What's your favourite game to play on long plane trips to away games?
It's balls.
Okay, explain it.
It's a game where you have to aim a ball at some bricks at higher up in the screen. Pretty simple game, to be honest, but it's something we used to. If we were sitting with each other, we'd
got
play
a fair
it.
run on most away trips. So seeing who can get the highest score. I think Charlie might be still going actually. He's
So the
probably
ball
best.
has to hit a brick, a certain brick.
No, all the bricks.
The
and
bricks
then
have like
each
numbers,
level the bricks.
and however many balls you have, the numbers keep going down as you hit the brick.
Yeah.
And then that brick will disappear when it gets to zero. Just download it, balls.
And then,
Oh, okay.
yeah, with a Z. balls with a Z.
Okay. What do we think then?
Bit of promotion for something there. There's been a few questions about the Stephen May Sam Frost scuffle.
Yes.
One from
Scuffle,
at
Jesus.
Stephen May.
Okay.
Frosty, is it true Maisie gave you some Air Force Ones to make up for yelling at you?
He did, yes. It was not to make up for yelling at me, but he did give me some Air Force Ones, yeah.
Explain.
He gets a fair bit of gear from Nike. He didn't want them, so
Didn't want him.
Similar size.
Actually, I did see something on Instagram. He posted it. He's got a new collection of
yeah.
lovely merchandise, so you
Yeah,
might
no.
have a bit more coming your way.
He was
Both
happy
of you.
to, well, hopefully. I mean, if he wants to yell at me again and give me some more stuff.
So what happened up there at the Gabba? Give us your version of events.
Yeah, I mean, I had an average defensive effort and he hit me up about it. We were under a fair bit of pressure at the time and I overreacted, which was my fault. I'm happy to admit that. And then, there was just a bit of back and forth, nothing too malicious. And then I think it looked a lot worse than it was based on the fact that it was 3/4 time and the cameras were following us around as we were talking, but we were just trying to talk through it and put it all behind us before we went out for the fourth quarter. But we were sweet after it. It just looked a bit more probably aggressive than
And the
it
media
was.
tends to build these things up. Hey?
Oh no,
Come
never.
on.
They never do anything like that. No, it was fine.
Have you enjoyed playing under his leadership? Obviously, he comes across as a former captain from Gold Coast.
Yeah, absolutely. He's an unbelievable guy to play with. He just will quite literally fight to the death if he had to, I imagine. And everyone's seen some of his efforts over the last few weeks coming back into the side. So I do really enjoy playing with him, and you know exactly what you're going to get.
Tell you what, he's a big boy. He loves a body spoil. Have
He's
you
a big
been
boy.
in his way at training at all?
No, I'll stay very well clear.
Not a bad idea.
There is a question here, Frida, about your old man. Is he loving being referred to as Coldstream legend? Does it get a run around the house a bit?
No, I don't think he'd love it, to be honest.
What's your dad's name?
Scott. So he cops it a little bit, but I think he holds the record with another family friend, actually, with the 360. But yeah.
Sam wants to know who's the comedian of the team.
Gorney'd be up there for sure. Melky's pretty funny.
Yeah. A couple of blokes that are involved in the fines. Melky and Gorney.
Yeah, and Prusy sort of for a bit of token big guy value.
Brucey's fantastic, but can you tell when he's joking or not? He doesn't seem to
very
change his
deadpan.
tone of
He's
voice
pretty dry, isn't
from
he?
a laugh
Very
and
deadpan.
from a backhanded whack.
Yeah, that's my type of humour, so I enjoy it about him. But yeah, he's very, very deadpan.
How's his and Gorney's relationship? Are they good together?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, I think from a football point of view, Prusy's got a heap to learn from Gorney, and he enjoys that, and Gorney probably enjoys that role as well. But yeah, the banter and the fines and the laughs are pretty good also.
Casey Cheerleader asks if you could do anything else than football, what would it be? We've spoken about your extracurricular activities, both of you, but Frida, is there something in the dream bank that you'd...
I think post-footy I wouldn't mind owning a business of some sort. I'm not 100% sure what that is at the moment, but I suppose if I can tick this A grade off, I might potentially start up my electrical business one day.
Get to it, mate.
If I hadn't had footy, would have loved to play volleyball internationally, somewhere in Asia or Europe, but bit of a pipe dream.
Does it get a run at all, the volleyball?
In terms of
Just, down the beach,
for a bit of fun.
take the shirt off.
It used to, yeah. I'd love to, but it's just finding the time and the weather, and I don't love the sun either. So
Yeah, well-
but a few mates from school I used to play with, we try and get together every now and then and have a hit. So
Speaking of the sun, Hunter_Pool asks, in litres, how much sunscreen do you go through annually?
yeah, more than I care to keep track of. Quite a few.
Do you need a sponsor? Sunscreen
I mean,
sponsor?
it wouldn't hurt if there's one. If there's one out there, no, we're all good. But
I might
no, I go
dip
through
into
a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, well, Ben, you're right.
Wouldn't mind a bit of banana boat.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
Speaking on the sort of volleyball athletics, Tom wants to know what the two of you were best at as at junior athletics.
Jeez.
I didn't do junior athletics. I just
good.
played a bit of footy, cricket, a bit of basketball, but yeah, mainly footy and cricket for me.
I'll go with the 200. It was probably my favourite event. Ended up doing a few, but yeah, I enjoyed the 200.
And speaking of the cricket, Frida, you're a big cricket fan. We've got the Ashes starting next week. James Pattinson, does he line up a Vic in the first test?
I don't reckon he lines up first test, but I definitely think he gets a run during the Ashes. I think they'll go with Stark, Hazelwood and Cummins with Lyon, but I reckon in the second or third test, I reckon Pattinson will definitely get in a run. Probably for Hazelwood, I reckon.
Hopefully there's a few cricket fans out there. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you 100%.
First test.
It won't be first test.
No, I wouldn't have thought. But he's a nice bloke to have in the squad. Hopefully he does all right in this intra-club match that they're playing the next few nights. How much do you love your cricket, Freda? You obviously played a bit as a junior.
Yeah, played probably till I was about 16, 17, and then footy sort of starting to get a little bit serious, so gave it up. But yeah, I love, especially around Christmas time with the Big Bash and then the IPL after that, and then now obviously with the World Cup just finishing, that was a bit unfortunate that we...
so all year round then?
Yeah, pretty much.
What
not just Christmas.
Do you partake in the matches here? Obviously there's a few little change room battles.
Yeah, change room cricket gets a fair run. Frosty isn't a massive fan of it because his locker is at the top of the crease, so we can't really get much of a run.
Do you get dirty? Do you get dirty, Frosty?
From time to time. Yeah. if my toes get stepped on,
he has been known to hide the bat and balls, but
once.
Yeah.
Who's the best indoor cricketer amongst the boys? Guy Walker's obviously got a bit of a background.
Yeah, I've never actually seen him roll the arm over. I think his shoulder didn't stand up. But Mitch Hannon's got a nice in-swinger, left arm in-swinger, Nathan Bracken-like.
Yeah, right.
Weedo's got to be up there.
Yeah, Weedo throws him down, as you would know.
Bowls some gas. There's actually a question here from someone called the Trent Lawford is the GOAT. Do you remember Trent Lawford? Big barrel-chested Victorian. Real strange cricket fan.
I do remember him. Very good. Hey, another strange one. Anna Hume. Thanks for your question, Anna. If you could be any other player at our club, who would you want to be? Who would you want to step into their shoes for the day?
Not Christian Petracca. That's for sure.
There's a lot going on.
That'd be a whirlwind.
There'd be a lot going on in his life, wouldn't there?
I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe...
I reckon I'd go Jordan Lewis, just with all the success he's had in his career. I reckon it'd be nice to have that in your back pocket.
He's got a bit of wine as well to get through.
A lot of connections as well.
That would be
Disposable
pretty
wine.
cool to know what that all feels like. Yeah, I'll go with him as well. Good question.
And then there is another question. If you could play alongside any player from an opposition team, who would it be?
Love to play with someone like Buddy. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Someone you'd
Save
rather
me
play
having to
alongside
play
as opposed to on, yeah.
Yeah. Growing up, I was a Collingwood supporter, so I'll say Scott Pendlebury.
Yeah, very nice.
Trisha wants to know, this one's for you, Bailey. She says, now that you're starring further up the ground, how much pressure is there to have Salem style and colour your locks? Did you get a Salem haircut in the lead up to Alice Springs?
Nah, I haven't actually.
He hasn't touched the sides?
Nah, he's never touched my hair. He always is on me back about it. Maybe I'll let him do it, and just for Trish, was it?
For Trish, yeah.
I might let him cut my hair. Next
a lot
time.
of risk, not so much reward, from what I'm seeing.
Oh, Clary's doesn't look too bad. I think Sally did that one, but it's
Every
pretty
now and then
That's open for interpretation.
It's a matter of opinion.
Have you had the chop?
Not from Salem, no. No, I had meant to one weekend, but I never got around to it. But no, not yet. I'd be happy to give him a run.
Okay. We're going to have to ask him about it. Surely he's coming up soon on the podcast. We'll have to get him involved. Boys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Anything else there before they head off?
I think the questions from the ad are just about through there. We've got some positive signs this week with Melky, a possible chance to return by the VFL. You'd like to see him back in the side before the end of the season?
Yeah, for sure. That'd be really good. Yeah, we've probably missed him at times this year, and it's good to see him getting back from his foot. That can be a bit of an annoying one, the feet injury. So injuries. But yeah, that would be good.
And coming up against the Saints, we must be pretty keen to get one over them. It's not an ideal stat, but 16 of our last 19 clashes against them haven't gone our way.
Is that right?
Is it there's no real theme because you boys weren't around 19 games against them, but you must have a hunger to beat them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, say that about any game, but yeah, definitely those aren't great numbers, and yeah, there's someone who probably going into last year were around where we kind of were, and we ended up doing a bit better obviously last year, and this year's gone the other way, so they're probably a good comparison for over a block of a few years of where we're at and who we should be beating.
Good stuff. Frosty, Fritter, thanks for being with us here on the podcast. And Ben, lovely cameo again.
Thanks, Obi. Good to be back.
Not so much a cameo now, it's becoming a regular occurrence. So you might be staking a claim to oust Jack Viney.
Well, he's a busy man by the sounds, I think.
He is very much so.
Last minute twist and I'm on, so.
Good stuff. Well done. That was Inside Melbourne, thanks to Zurich.